so recording now and live on Facebook. So they have come to troubleshoot on our internet for some time now, but apparently there's no problem.
Oh.
But I don't know why we can't connect if there's no problem. So I'm going to try this again this week.
In all of our digging, we ripped out our phone line.
Oh, that's good.
But I still have the internet.
Okay, so preparing to live stream. And so in the corner, you should see when we're actually on live. Oh, actually, it's saying that we're on live.
It says live right now.
So that's what it said last week too, and we weren't. So I'm just going to try and double check. Technology is awesome when it works.
It's great for knitting patterns.
Great for what?
Knitting patterns.
Okay, so if this worked well, I should be able to see us on live on Facebook. It worked the first 2 weeks, but last week it just refused to go on, so. And I'm checking my phone. It's not coming up so far on my phone. Because when I'm on Zoom, it takes a little bit longer on the computer, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's doing it again, but it's not showing that I'm live.
I feel like I should be juggling or something. Like do.
Yeah, see, it's not showing up live again. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. So what I'm gonna do is, because I'm just double checking on the phone here. So like I said, what I did last week was I just posted the video, so.
Okay.
And I guess that's what we're gonna have to do again, because it's just not coming on, and another call to fiber op again tomorrow. Because I'm not sure why this is not working. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it so that it's still showing live on Facebook, and if it happens to like hop on, then perfect. And then if not, I will just post it because it's still saying that we're live on Facebook.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what's going on. So I want to welcome everybody to Monday Whispers Chat. And so Bridging the Gap Wellness is all about creating holistic life and finding balance. So each week during Monday Whispers, we will be featuring an amazing, inspiring women. And so my name is Roly Allaire, and I am a holistic wellness coach and a spirit flame keeper and a soul healer. And my spirit name is Gigudo Miguenkwe. And something just flashed on the computer, so I'm not sure what that flash is about. Hang on, let's just see. Maybe. Maybe, oh no, I don't know what the flashing is about, but my screen keeps going flashing in and out. So maybe I am going live on Facebook, but we'll see. So anyway, so apparently these are the adventures of Monday Whispers, not not creating balance, just creating more stress for me. So, so the so this week we actually have Ashley. So Ashley Fehr is here, and so I wanted to be able to talk a little bit with Ashley about the why it's important to you to stay at home. So Ashley is a stay-at-home mom of two beautiful girls, and so she's going to share her wisdom with us this week. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, Ashley?
Sure. So I'm Ashley Fehr. My two girls are 4 and 6. Lily is going into grade 2 this year, and Leah is starting JK. So that'll be an interesting adventure having both kids gone. We have a small little hobby farm, and I knit and crochet like crazy. Plus, I'm a Girl Guide leader. Pretty much sums up my life.
Okay, so so right to the topic. So why is it important for you to be able to stay at home?
You know what? It was never in my plans to stay at home. It was never something that I had planned, but it worked out in such a way that now I'm home, and I couldn't see myself missing out on all that I participate in with my girls. I get to join them for their musical concerts, their field trips. If the teacher needs help with something at the school, they know they can call me and I can come in and help. And my kids love it. It's so fulfilling to know that I am there every step. Not every step. Okay, I'm not like hovering over them, but I'm there for so much of their day. And I'm the one raising them. They're not being raised by, or haven't been raised by daycare, or, someone watching them, which there's nothing wrong if that's what you have to do, but I am fortunate that I get to be part of all of it.
So one of the reasons why I specifically had asked you to be able to come on this live is because I guess probably it's been about a month ago now that there was somebody who had actually posted on Facebook about, and it was I'm assuming that it's a mutual friend, or she made it public. I'm not sure which way it was, but I know that she's a friend on my Facebook page. And I was just completely taken aback because the comment was, why do you put on your Facebook status or on your profile status being a stay-at-home mom and being proud of it and making reference to being a lazy-ass mom? And so what are your thoughts about that?
It lit a little bit of a fire under me as well, because I don't consider myself to be lazy in any way, nor any other mom that I know. So to me, being a stay-at-home mom, okay, yes, it's not technically a job. I'm not given a paycheck for it, but that is my job. That is, I am there 24/7 as a parent, and I get that it's not a job, but that doesn't make me lazy. Nor does it make any other parent, mother or father, who stays home with their kids. How does that make you lazy in my mind? Because really, you go to work, you are no longer mom, you are, your actual name, and you've got to run and you've got to do your things. But most of the time, you're not responsible for someone's life. When you are mom or dad and stay at home, you have to make sure your kids are fed and clothed and not running in traffic, and you know what I mean, like you're constantly on alert, paying attention. So it almost seems like a little bit more mentally draining, or it could depending on your job, but that doesn't make you lazy. You know what I mean? That to me, I just don't understand the lazy aspect.
Yeah. So, and that was one of the things that is, oh, something funny is going on. I can see a completely different screen and I can't hear you anymore. What happened? So I swear, I swear Fiber Op is getting a major phone call tomorrow. they are going to help me problem solve this, because now it's gone.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
So I don't know what happened.
You've been interesting to talk to so far.
So the last part that I heard was about the fact that you are not a lazy ass mom for staying at home, and that moms work hard. Moms do a lot of things, and so as do dads. And so, like, don't want to take away from dads either, but we're talking about moms. So we're empowering women. And sorry, dads, I know that I get some feedback from some of the men on my in my community, and I'm like, sorry, but you want to talk about dads? Then start your own group. So my focus is moms, and so but being able to do these things with our kids and doing some of the activities that you do, like you wouldn't be able to do half of the things that you do if you were actually gone to work.
Yeah.
Right.
I enjoy, I kind of like that the teacher can say, hey, we have this art show coming up. We need all of the art kind of framed. Can you do it? I love that they can come up and ask me that, because I'm like, you know what? Sure, gladly. I'll come help out at the school. And, and then if they need help with this or that, they know that I'm around. I'm willing. Very rarely do I have concrete plans that I can't kind of work around helping out, but it's that little bit of extra that I'm able to help out others, and maybe not even one-on-one with my kids, but I'm still able to help out the school community, and it's a very fulfilling feeling as well.
Yeah, so one of the things that, because my kids are now older, a lot older, mine are, my youngest one is going to be 21 in September. So I don't do the helping out at the school very much anymore, but I used to love it. And so one of the things that I would do is we would have, and I'm going to assume that these programs are still in effect at some of the schools, is that we actually had a breakfast program at our school. And so I used to be able to drive my kids to school on the mornings that we were doing the breakfast club, and be able to help with being able to get the things ready, and being able to help and some of the other kids would come and help out. And so it was amazing to be able to have some of those activities, and being able to be part of that community, and knowing that some of these kids that were coming to school didn't get to eat for different reasons. So like I know that with one of my kids, like, he did not eat breakfast when he first woke up in the morning. Like, it didn't matter what it is that we did, how we did it, what it is that we tried to do. He just couldn't eat breakfast in the morning. It would always be a couple of hours later for him to be able to eat breakfast. And if he ate sooner than that, he would get sick. So it's not because we didn't make sure that all these things were in place. So the rule at our house was you can't leave the house without having a glass of milk at least, so that at least I knew that he was getting something in his belly. So that was a rule that we had with him. But these things were like super important, of being able to making sure that some of these kids that couldn't eat for, like I said, for different reasons, and for others who didn't have those breakfasts or those healthy opportunities. Or a friend of mine, her son would go to school on the bus, and he would eat his whole lunch before he even got to school. So being able to have breakfast club and having access to food at the school was something that was extremely helpful, until they figured out what the problem was. And then she started sending the lunch to school with his brother, so that he'd actually have to go get his lunch from his brother so that way he wasn't eating it on the bus. But he would eat breakfast before he left. He would eat. And so when the teacher had finally got a hold of her and said, like, okay, there's a problem, like, he comes to school with no lunch every single day. And so she started saying, well, these are the things that he's eating. Like, I don't understand. Like, everybody gets the same thing. And so but it was good to be able to have these opportunities, to be able to have these breakfast clubs. And without the parents, these things were not happening. The teachers couldn't do it, and the principals certainly couldn't do it. So being able to have parent volunteers was extremely important for us to be able to do. So
we have at my daughter's school, it's a snack program, and so every Monday to Friday they get I think 3 of the food groups per snack, and it was all healthy options. And then once a month there's a hot lunch, and it's all parent volunteers, mostly moms. There are a handful of grandmothers that go too, and it's without all of those people, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. And so these are the lazy ass moms, right, that are staying at home and doing nothing, right? So, and again, that was the part that really irritated me. It was like, okay, I understand that you need to work, and I had to work. I had to work part-time when my kids were little. And and one of the things that I was sharing with you is that when my kids got older and I went to work full-time, then we were eating out a lot. So like I wasn't home to be able to do a lot of the different things. So what are some of the things that are important to you that help your family?
Well, I mean, I used to work full time, and when my kids were really, really small, and it would just exhaust me. I would work all day, pick them up, feed them some whatever, either fast food or some frozen thing that I could warm up quick, bath and bed. There was no quality of life. There was no, you know what I mean? And my husband works out of town. Now I am home. The kids get home from school and we read books, we play outside, we do puzzles, we get a snack. I'm able to cook a decent meal. My family is able to eat something good, and I know that it's good because I made it or I grew it on my farm. You know, it's pretty cool that I know what my family is fed. On a rare occasion, we'll have something fast. Like today we had pizza, but that's because we're digging our basement. But, you know, it's not an everyday thing. They are well fed. They get, you know, the good lunches made. I have the time with them to do what they want, what they need, what I want, you know, like, oh, let's go catch fireflies in the evening. Well, I'm not dead tired after a full day of working. Sure, let's go do it. You know, I feel like it gives more of me to my kids instead of to work. And that's important to me, that my kids get, you know, a good experience with me, and not just, I'm too tired.
Yep. And that is important. So like we see, and that was again, so I was on the school council, and so a lot of times it was like, well, how do you get your kids to read? Like that was the topic. Those were the focuses. Like I'm not sure where things are at with the school councils now, but when my kids were little, it was like, how do we get the kids to read, especially boys? But like those were not issues that I had, because we were able to have our bedtime routines. We were able to have, it was time to come home from school. We did our homework. We did our reading together, and every night before bed we would actually do our reading. We'd do all our bath time, we'd do all of our routines, and then bedtime was reading. And so Michael was reading and comprehending at a grade 8 level in grade 2, and I can honestly attribute that to being able to have had the time to be able to read with him. And if I wouldn't have had the time, he may have still been able to pick up on reading. He's very intelligent, so like that's not necessarily something that he wouldn't necessarily have been able to still do, but he may not have actually had those opportunities in grade 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean in grade 2, because he was reading Harry Potter books and understanding what he was reading. So we were reading Harry Potter together is how it started, because that was our bedtime book, and so I was reading it to them, and then but Casey was younger, so his bedtime was a little sooner, so then we would actually set things down. And I guess Michael got tired of waiting for me to get Casey ready for bed, and I come back into the bedroom and he's like 3 or 4 pages ahead of me, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm reading. And I'm like, but Mike, like, we're supposed to read that together. And so like that was a big thing, right? So him and I were able to do that, and he was reading to me, I was reading to him, and like that's how we actually exchanged that. But if I was actually working full time during that time frame, I would have never been able to have the energy to do that. And I know that because again, when I started working full time and the boys were in school then or got older, then that made a huge difference for the things that we used to do together, and all that meal planning and all those kinds of things that were happening. So I was still home after school, so I was still home shortly after I got home. But you get home, you have to prepare all the meals, and you have to get their lunches ready, and you have to do all these other things. And I've been fortunate that my jobs have allowed me to be able to still be flexible, that I could take some flex time to be able to still be able to participate in school things. But then breakfast club wasn't something that I was able to help out with, and like all those kinds of things. So, so what are some of the things when you're not being a mom that you do?
Well, this I'm a Girl Guide leader, but that's still kind of being a mom because I signed up because my daughter is a Spark, and they needed leaders, so I joined there. So I'm a Girl Guide leader. I help organize a community garden in Englehart. I knit and crochet, and then we have just a small kind of in-home business of just natural products. It's stuff that we use, and we just, because they're not really in the area we supply, but it's not something I pursue very much. It's just to keep me busy. Yeah, I mostly volunteer. I volunteer with a lot of things, and I enjoy it.
Good. And without volunteers like you, right, then you probably wouldn't be able to have a community garden, right? So how many people are actually volunteering in the community garden?
Well, so I kind of organize it. My fellow Girl Guide leader, she also helps out very much. We both go and weed here and there, and then anybody in the community can go water, weed, pick from it. So it's the whole community kind of steps in here and there. But overall, like I have to maintain the books in the little free library, and then in our stand, we have a stand where there's hats and mitts and scarves that we hang in the winter. So I kind of oversee and make sure everything's running smoothly and organized, and that there's lots of this and that.
So, so then there's still not very many like that are planned volunteers. So like if there are people that weren't coming, right? So, so without the core of you, then these things wouldn't be happening. And if you were working full time,
there's no way. There's no way I could handle it.
Right. So, and the moms that are working full time, they can go and help out when they can. But like
this garden is actually, the garden's, sorry, I'm cutting you off. The garden's really good for those that do work full time, because if you do work and you can't maintain a garden, here's a garden for you. You know what I mean? There's a garden for you to go and pick whatever fresh you want from to cook for your family, so you don't have the headache of a garden at home. So it really and truly, like, it benefits those that are home or those that aren't. You know, sorry, I apologize, I cut you off. I'm a little passionate about this garden. But you know what I mean? Like, it's good for everyone.
Yep. But what I'm saying though is that moms who have to work, right? So then they're not able to. So like if they can only go and do half an hour here, half an hour there, or only do it on the weekends or whatever, but there's still a core group of people who are able to do this. And usually it falls heavy on our retired community who have worked for many, many years, and they're tired, right? So a lot of them, when they're actually getting to being able to be retired, they're tired, and wanting to go and look after a whole bunch of other stuff isn't something that all of them want to be able to do. Some of them are not necessarily well by the time that you retire. And by the time that we retire, then we're looking at being 67, and apparently they're talking about increasing the age some more. So I'm hoping, I have a friend of mine who is 70, and I'm hoping to be as vital as she is by the time that I'm 70. So, but that's not necessarily the case with our retired community, right? So a lot of them are sick. A lot of them have worked many, many years, many, many hours, and have got a lot of other things. So being able to have young moms who, and then when you're off, you're also teaching your kids these things, right?
Yeah.
So
they understand my desire to help others, I guess you could say, because my kids pick up on it. They'd be like, "Oh, Mom, we could do this for this person," or "I'd like to do this for this," and that makes me so happy, especially with the Sparks and the Brownies. They'd be like, "Oh, well, we can do this for, and send this off to this person," and I'm like, yes, that's right. You don't have to think just about yourself. Think of others, and it is nice. Your kids do see it.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference, because when we can give to our community, our kids do learn on that. And so that was one of the things, is that I volunteered a lot, and so my kids volunteered a lot, and my kids would do, and as they became teenagers, it was like all this whole grumpy, I hate volunteering, I hate helping people stage. And but it was like, it doesn't matter, I don't really care, like, up you go and away you go. And so my kids are still very helpful, and now that they're adults, and they're young adults, and so if somebody needs some help and they need those kinds of things, so like like I said, my 21-year-old, he if his grandfather needs a hand, there is no question, he doesn't even hesitate. And I know that that has to do with being able to have taught him to be able to volunteer. Like, yes, it's family, but like, if somebody needs a hand, I know that my kids will actually step out and do what it is that they need to do to help people. And when they actually do the community stuff, when they actually get more older, then I know that they'll actually want to be part of their community. And those are going to be because I had that opportunity and I had that time to be able to do those things with my kids. So I know that that was a lot of the things that I did. My husband worked shift work, so that wasn't something that he did, because by the time he did two 12-hour shifts, and then had to rotate to doing two 12-hour night shifts, and then having to switch back and forth, like, that's not something that he wanted to do. Mind you, he did volunteer a lot, or as he would say, he was voluntold a lot. So being able to do like all these kinds of things, but like, it's important, and it's really important for us to be able to support moms who are staying at home, and not bash them, right? So if there are moms that are staying at home, it is really important for us to be able to stay supportive of these moms. And that is the message that I really wanted to be able to get out there, is that, and although not everybody has that financial ability of being able to stay at home, but for those who are able to stay at home, like, kudos, like, this is amazing, because our kids need us. Our kids need us at home. And this is something that I am extremely passionate about. And so is Ashley, which is the reason why I had asked Ashley to be able to come and talk about this, because I was really appalled by that statement. And it's like, not everybody has to work, and that, or they can make adjustments, or they can make some changes, or they can do different things. And so I was very fortunate to be able to do that. My husband worked full-time. He made well enough money that it didn't make us rich, but allowed me to be able to stay home. So we lived paycheck to paycheck still, but it allowed us to still be able to do the things that I wanted to do, and working part-time. And like I said, I was very fortunate to be able to work part-time at home. So and I was able to do these things, and which made my hours flexible, and I was able to increase my hours on the days that my husband was home, allowing me to be able to do other things on the days that he wasn't. So like, this is amazing. And so thank you very much, Ashley. Is there anything else that you wanted to be able to share?
I guess all I can think of is, if you're on the fence about, do I want to stay home? What are people gonna say or think of me? There are very few that think of you as a lazy ass, because anyone with kids knows you're not lazy. You can't be lazy, and if you, I don't know how you do it. So I for given the opportunity to watch your kids grow and to be able to be a part, more involved, I say do it. That's my opinion, but that's my opinion.
So as again, because I'm not sure if this actually went on live, it doesn't look like it's actually gone on live. So I'm going to post this on my page, and so I'm going to tag Ashley. So if there's any questions for Ashley, please feel free to tag Ashley, and when she has some time to be a lazy ass mom on Facebook, then she'll come back on and answer. But actually, if you tag her, then she'll definitely be able to give you some responses. I know that she's in some really heavy duty renovations right now. So
yes, I am. I'm sorry, you just made me laugh, and I snorted and all of it.
Well, and like I said, like that was the whole theme of it, right? Like, so we can't. If you're a mom, there's no way that you're a lazy ass. I really don't know any moms that are lazy asses. So, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I said, if they are lazy asses, then they should not likely be moms, right? So,
Yeah.
because when we're moms, we work hard at the things that we do, and so it's and our kids definitely need us, and they benefit from us being able to be there. So.
They do. They do. Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks very much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay.